Hello and welcome to today's Supply Chain Management Review podcast. My name is Michael Levins and I'm Group Editorial Director for Peerless Media's Supply Chain Group, which of course includes Supply Chain Management Review magazine. And I'll be your moderator for today's episode where we're going to dig into some of the key benefits of being an Amazon business customer putting Business Prime to work for your purchasing organization. Supply chain professionals are certainly aware of the top areas of concern for global purchasing decision makers. I don't have to remind anybody of that. Indeed, today, more than ever, cost savings and risk reduction are by far the top areas of focus on the way to delivering increased procurement value. Now, to meet these goals, enterprise organizations need to select a cost-effective vendor that provides fast shipping and products from a wide variety of suppliers. And as we learn in this podcast today, Amazon Business certainly supports those needs. And a Business Prime membership only builds on that by streamlining work and reducing costs with tools that oversee and influence business spending. In fact, Amazon Business recently commissioned Forrester Consulting to conduct a total economic impact study to determine the potential ROI for customers with Business Prime. And today I'm joined by Daniel Lee, and Daniel is Senior Product Manager on the Business Prime team. And he's here to discuss the key findings of the study, as well as the benefits of being an Amazon Business customer, putting Business Prime to work for your purchasing organization. Daniel, welcome to today's podcast. So, Daniel, we're going to start by setting the table a little bit. Can you kind of give us your take on the supply chain environment as it pertains to global purchasing decision makers? What are you seeing? Where are we? And, what are you seeing overall here as we roll through 2024?
Hi, Michael. Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here today. And so, just to kind of kick things off, over the past couple of decades, we've seen firsthand how technology has disrupted many industries, uh, which has played a role in many of our lives on the B2C side. Now, supply chain is a rather archaic industry, and we're seeing digital transformation driven by advanced technology such as generative AI, data analytics, and automation, and much more. These technologies are enabling organizations to create more agile and responsive, resilient supply chain environments that can cope with the challenges and opportunities of a post-pandemic world. I think one of the big things that is common is that supply chain hasn't really changed for the better of 70 years. And we're seeing a lot of the technologies that are being used in the B2C world and are now starting
Yep,
to apply to a B2B world.
absolutely. Indeed. Daniel, it does look and feel like supply chain disruptions now. You mentioned those, and I think I mentioned this at the top. Disruptions are now part of the everyday environment, right? Now, with this new reality that you just kind of defined there, what would you say are a few of the biggest challenges facing global purchasing decision makers these days?
Yeah, so with global purchasing decision makers in today's environment, I think it's no surprise that there is a constrained environment that everyone is operating in, even
Right.
outside of supply chain.
Yep.
And so we've seen labor shortages for the better part of 3 years, starting with the COVID pandemic and then moving onwards. And some of the labor shortages are more so um, companies needing certain types of employees.
Hmm.
Also, on the other side of it, um, companies also restricting or tightening up their where they're spending money in certain newer environments within their business.
Right.
So you're seeing companies all over the place starting to cut down on business units that were actually seen as longer tail investments,
Right. Right.
and being a little bit more conservative in how they're operating. On top of the labor shortages and just the constrained labor market in general, we're seeing a different environment around uh, international shipping
Hmm.
and warehouse capacity and shortages in general.
Hmm.
So global trade volume has generally rebounded after the pandemic, but we're still seeing some residual effects of how shipping lanes with um, international trade has been impacted in certain areas of the
Yep.
world.
Absolutely.
And this has caused bottlenecks and backlogs and inefficiencies just with the movement and storage of goods. And I think just in terms of supply chain decision makers in general, while the pandemic is quote unquote close to being over, we're still seeing some variants and whatnot, and COVID
Yep.
is
Yep.
still a topic of conversation. I
Yep.
think supply chain decision makers need to be more resilient, as we've seen in the past couple of years. There's
Hmm.
always some sort of big disruptor right on the horizon. And it's very challenging to see what's next, but
Yeah.
you need to be resilient in terms of what is actually coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. You nailed it. Absolutely, Daniel. Now, it appears that Amazon Business it seems to be uniquely positioned then to help purchasing managers navigate these challenges, the ones you just defined there, through Business Prime. Can you kind of help us understand what Business Prime is and how it amplifies an Amazon business account? How's it working?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think most of us are consumer prime customers. I know that I am.
Hmm.
I'm sure that you are as well.
Ma'am.
But business prime is an adjustment of consumer prime. And
Hmm.
when I say an adjustment is we wanted to take that same consumer experience that Prime had delivered for consumers, but tailor it towards a business organization. And when you package up Business Prime with Amazon Business, what we do is we create additional values for customers by extending access to tools and other benefits that
Hmm.
are meant to simplify the procurement experience for
Yep.
organization, as opposed to like a household, let's say, for
Right.
example.
Gotcha.
And so with Consumer Prime, you get benefits like video, access to music, and different consumer benefits that people are using kind of on their everyday lives.
Hmm.
With Business Prime, we offer additional benefits that are more geared towards the business buyer or procurement organizations. And so
Hmm.
we have 5 membership option plans for customers that scale all from mom and pop businesses all the way up to large enterprises,
Hmm.
which allow for different levels of uh, tools such as data analysis through our spend visibility tool and guided buying, which helps create a guided buying environment for these larger enterprises. And then we also give access to unlimited number of users within an organization on the specified plan. So
Right.
this gives really the power to monitor and steer employees towards the preferred purchasing behavior.
Hmm.
And then additionally, on top of that, I mentioned the benefits that come along with the Consumer Prime membership. We're looking to continuously add to our suite of benefits. And so something that is very near and dear to a lot of our customers' heart is extended payment terms
Yeah.
on our credit lines, which help free up some cash flow. And so if you think about Business Prime with Amazon Business, it's that same shopping experience that's
Hmm.
easy to use, but we're adding that additional layer of technological features that help
Hmm.
customers procure products more efficiently.
Yep, gotcha. Absolutely. Now, Daniel, I understand that Amazon Business recently commissioned Forrester Consulting to create a total economic impact study. I mentioned it at the top of our session today. What was the goal of that study?
So, in November of 2023, Amazon Business actually commissioned Forrester Consulting to do a total economic impact of Amazon Business with Business Prime. Forrester's findings in this study are based on interviews with current Amazon Business customers with Business Prime, as well as a broader survey gathered across North America and Europe. A lot of the metrics that we were able to dig up from this study are risk adjusted projected figures over a 3-year timeline. So we actually get the longer tail version of or impact of how customers impacted with Amazon Business and Business Prime.
Mhm.
But this study is a culmination of research and interviews conducted by Forrester that dive into why Amazon Business customers would sign up for a Business Prime membership.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
From this data, Forrester completed a framework meant to identify the cost, benefit, flexibility, and risk factors that affect the investment decisions for organization.
Hmm.
A feature like Business Prime.
I was going to say, you share some of the high level findings that came out of the study. Any key stats that you should can share from a 30,000 foot view?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest headline was we found that there was a 324% return on investment for companies that added
Wow.
a Business Prime membership to their Amazon business account.
Yep.
Now that's a pretty big number, but it
Yep.
takes into account time saved for employees for things like
Hmm.
waiting for deliveries, bringing on new suppliers, and general onboarding of buyers.
Hmm.
And then there's an additional interesting secondary finding that caught my eye as well. But the number of annual procurement hours saved
Yep.
was 1,420 over 3 years.
Wow.
Um, and so that actually the speed of which customers receive the orders increased by 41%, which actually helped
Jeez.
save on the soft cost side as well.
Yep. Gotcha. Gotcha. So that was a bit of a surprising figure to you, then, right? That was certainly something that would surprise you, Daniel. Right? That's pretty impressive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, now B2B readers are always looking for, that benefit statement, right? Looking for ways to improve their purchasing operations. Now, according to the findings, what are some of the biggest, quantified business, benefits that Business Prime users are realizing through this program, Daniel?
Yeah, customers in this program that are leveraging Spend Insights save upwards of 20% on products costs thanks to our spend visibility tool.
Hmm.
From interviews and survey data, Forrester found that the procurement teams that use data visualizations that were available to them through Amazon Business and Business Prime um, would help identify expensive or related purchases that could be bought in larger volumes
Hmm.
from more affordable suppliers to save costs. This analysis helped teams better budget and composite customers saved around 284,000 over a 3-year period.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. What about some of the residual, but maybe vital, unquantified benefits that Business Prime users are realizing? Any surprise there on the unquantified benefits?
Yeah, within the study, Forrester actually found that operations were accelerated from faster shipping times.
Hmm.
Employees could also discover preferred products much easier, which also saved time. And then extended invoicing terms freed up more time for employees to focus on important tasks.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Now let's touch on how an organization can implement Business Prime, Daniel. What are the steps and time frame, costs involved? Walk us through kind of how somebody can get rolling with Business Prime.
Yeah, so I think with my comment earlier in our conversation around how we service many different types of organizations from mom and
Hmm.
pops to large enterprises, kind of taking that in mind, we know that organizations come in all shapes and sizes and have
Hmm.
very specific ways of operating. They almost have their own personality, mechanisms, and processes that we can't just cookie cutter. I think a lot of organizations have general ways of operating, but we can't just cookie cutter what works for one organization for another.
Right.
And so procurement is very much the same way. And with Amazon Business and Business Prime, we actually have the we have a team that is able to give a sales assisted relationship
Hmm.
regardless of size. And so there's a familiarity with working with other sales organizations, but we have an organization that's very similar in terms of understanding what your customer needs are,
Yep.
how your organization operates, and then tailoring an Amazon business account with Business Prime to fit your specific needs. And we actually have teams that'll guide and handhold you through that whole process as
Yep,
well.
gotcha. Well, we're up against the clock, Daniel, but it sounds like, and my last question was going to be, that about that customer user relationship. How was it handled? But it sounds like you take that, team approach there. That kind of fold them into the team to work with them on that process. So it sounds like it's, a nice step by step process, not too intimidating, right?
Yeah, no, not too intimidating. I mean, one of our leadership principles that we have here at Amazon is customer obsession. And so we are
Hmm.
truly obsessed over how the customer experience goes from start to finish within everything we do. And so we want to work with customers to make sure that they actually get the best experience from Amazon Business and Business Prime together.
Yep.
And so it's really working on the customer schedule and timeline in terms of how quick they want to stand things up and how intricate that they want to go into the program.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, we are up against the clock, so I just want to thank Daniel Lee, Senior Product Manager on the Business Prime team. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank Amazon Business for making today's podcast a reality. It was great speaking with you, Daniel. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Michael, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you.